Hello, my name is David Freeman. At present, I'm a staff nurse on the ENT outpatients clinic at Lincoln County Hospital.
Afternoon, David.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us
That's
today.
all right, pleasure.
Would it be possible for you to talk about your career pathway development for us so that we can understand where you've come from and where you've been and where you're going?
Okay, well, it's quite a long one, I'm afraid, but we'll start straight away.
Thank you.
Going back to September 1973, when I was 21, I became a qualified teacher following a 3-year Cert Ed course at Manchester University. Between 1973 and 1985, I taught English at 3 comprehensive schools in the Manchester area. By February 1985, I became aware that I was a bit dissatisfied with my teaching career and that perhaps it was time for some sort of career change of direction. And what I didn't want to be was one of those teachers sitting in the class, in the staff room, constantly moaning about the kids and generally everything under the sun. So, funnily enough, around this time, we had a health visitor visit our house to give my 12-month-old baby son some sort of assessment, and I happened to say to her that I was a little bit fed up with teaching, looking for a career change, but I had no idea what that might be or what to do. And she asked me, I always remember, have I ever thought of nursing? And I'm afraid my initial reaction was, you must be joking, not in 1,000 years, no, never. And she actually said to me that the nursing profession was currently looking to enrol more men and also more mature students, more mature applicants, and I was 32 at the time. And I think actually the limit then was 35 for nursing. Anyway, she suggested that perhaps I might visit the local health centre where they had a male district nurse and obviously quite a few other nurses working there, and I might find it interesting. And so I was a bit hesitant, but I thought, oh well, okay, I've nothing to lose, let's go. So I did have an open mind when I got there, and at the end of the day I had nothing to lose. So I met all these nurses, and basically to my surprise, they were so enthusiastic about their jobs, absolutely so enthusiastic, completely different to the sort of disillusionment of a lot of teachers who'd been in the job quite a while. And so actually after that visit I was convinced that perhaps nursing was a career that I might enjoy. And so I didn't let the grass grow. Literally within 3 months of that visit I'd resigned from my job as a teacher. It was at Moorclose High School in Rochdale, and I started my RGN training at Oldham School of Nursing. And I can honestly say I enjoyed every minute of that, absolutely every minute, and I can't think of anything negative to say about that training at all. And it completely prepared me for sort of life on a busy ward, and I couldn't wait to qualify. So those 3 years passed, and after qualifying in July 1988, which seems a lifetime ago, my first job was in ICU at the Royal Oldham Hospital, and that was excellent grounding in high dependency nursing. Excuse me. However, after about 12 months, I thought that perhaps less specialised nursing would be more my forte, more rewarding, and I therefore became a senior staff nurse, and this was back in the days of grades, an E-grade staff nurse on the general surgical ward at the time, which dealt with colorectal and vascular patients, if my memory serves me right. Very happy doing that, and then in November 1990 my family and I decided to move to Lincoln, really for a better quality of life, and I was offered a job at Lincoln County Hospital on Marshall Ward, which specialised in urology, and that was where I actually met you, Julie, as I recall, as my boss, one of my bosses. I remained on Marshall Ward till 1992, had 2 very happy years there, and then I was asked if I would go to Neustadt Ward, which was the ophthalmic ward. I had no knowledge of ophthalmics, but I was asked if I would spend some time there to replace the junior sister who was going on maternity leave. So I thought, well, give that a go, could be interesting. And I really enjoyed that change of speciality. I also gained confidence at that time in management, and I think I had a more developed role at that point in mentoring students, and felt I was actually quite valued doing that role. And then in 1994 my career took a different turn, as I felt at the time there was a lack of opportunity to obtain a charge nurse post at Lincoln County. And this led me to apply for a charge nurse role at the Bromhead Hospital, which was a local private hospital, which had been suggested to me by a colleague who had recently obtained a post there. In hindsight, which is always very easy, that wasn't a move I should have made, I don't think. Although it did give me many opportunities at the time to organise and participate in formal teaching sessions at the hospital study days, which they organised and were in various public venues, as I recall. And then in June 1996, I entered what I call my wilderness years, really, as I left the private hospital to take the position of a home manager at a local nursing home, and a role which I thought would be challenging and rewarding. And indeed it was, to be fair, but what I hadn't reckoned on was the constant battles with the owners, who were very reluctant to spend any of their profits on the improvements that were needed to bring the home into some sort of half-decent standard. So those were my wilderness years. But by 1999, I thought it's time to return from those years, if you like, back to the safety of the NHS, and even if that meant starting at the bottom again. So I took a job which eventually enabled me to take the path which in 2006 led to the heady heights of a Band 7 on Clayton Ward.
At Lincoln County.
At Lincoln County Hospital,
yes.
Yeah. That job was a basic staff nurse post, which was a D grade, or by that point a Band 5 post on Shuttleworth Ward, which specialised in colorectal surgery. The leadership on this ward, I have to say, soon enabled me to regain my confidence within the NHS setting, and in a comparatively short time I became a senior staff nurse once again. I had many opportunities to mentor students, and I did do some courses in order to enhance that role, but don't ask me the names of those courses now because that's rather a long time ago. More importantly, actually, I was given many opportunities to refine my management skills so that I felt able to deputise, if necessary, for the ward sister. Then unfortunately in 2002 I suffered a permanent total loss of hearing in one ear, and that caused me to make a move to the outpatients department on the advice of occupational health. Initially I took the move very badly. I felt I had to be dragged there kicking and screaming because I thought perhaps this was the end of my career, and I have to say that after speaking with you, Julie, who was a matron at the time, I was quite motivated to give it my best shot and thought, I'm here, not necessarily forever, but give it my best shot. Subsequently, I really enjoyed working in that department, and I was again helped by really good leadership, and that gave me frequent opportunities to develop further management skills. This support also did help me to cope with my hearing disability, and in 2004 I successfully applied for the post of junior charge nurse back on Shuttleworth Ward. This post again gave me frequent opportunities to work with the ward sister. She immersed me in many management roles and therefore gave me the experience and confidence to deal with difficult situations, some of which needed tact and diplomacy, which I used to be quite good at.
And still are.
As well as organisational skills. I'm saying too many years really. This experience in dealing with management issues meant that in 2006 I felt I had the competence and experience to apply for the charge nurse Band 7 post on Clayton Ward at Lincoln County, and that specialised in ENT and maxillofacial surgery. I have to say I had very little ENT experience, but the management skills that I'd gained in the previous 2 years meant I was able to fulfil the criteria to apply for that particular post. So in July 2006 I became Clayton Ward charge nurse. To my surprise, after some initial wobbles of confidence, and I have to say, on occasion I thought, what am I doing here? I did find that I became a role model for some of the new Band 7s who'd replaced sisters of many years standing. During my time on Clayton Ward, I did take an active role as a dignity ambassador, organising and participating in quite a lot of study days, and I'd often use humour and role play as a way of getting across important information, important messages. And some people still remember my dressing up in old pyjamas and a fake catheter training. In 2010, however, at the age of 58, I felt I was ready to take my NHS pension. I had thought of joining the nurse bank doing a couple of shifts a week to keep my hand in. However, I did take, I was offered and did take a part-time staff nurse post on the ENT outpatient clinic where I've been now for 8 years, unbelievably. During this time I have been able to use many of the skills I've learned over a 45-year working life, and I'm able to voice opinions and offer support to colleagues. Finally, would I have done anything differently? Well, perhaps I might have taken a more specialist role in nursing. Perhaps I shouldn't have left the NHS in 1994. Perhaps I should have taken more courses. But on balance, if I'm honest, I have very few regrets about the decisions I made. And at the end of the day, I'm still here.
Thank you so much, David. David, just a question for you. If for the people that are going to be watching your story, what advice would you give to those that are perhaps coming into their career pathways or just starting out, or those that are thinking of changing pathways? Have you got any sort of advice for those kind of people?
I think for anybody coming into nursing, I think they have to immerse themselves in as many experiences as they can, really, during their training. Things are not as clear cut as when I did my training, where most of the training was done on wards, whereas now it's a little bit more fragmented. But I think you have to make the most of all the opportunities that you have on your placements, and don't make any hasty decisions. Wait until you qualify. I would say actually take the first job that is offered to you and get a general feel of what everything's about, and then after a while, when you've got your feet, I suppose, then perhaps think about what pathway you might want to take. But I think initially make the most of where you are.
It's about that consolidation.
About consolidation, definitely. Yeah.
And finally, just to say thank you so much for participating and sharing your story, and thank you from me as an individual and also from ULHT. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.